Well, we are hearing reports that the president could call for a new round of federal spending in his State of the Union address tomorrow night, a plan that is already being compared to his previous stimulus plans. We just received new Fox News polls last week asking voters if they believe the stimulus of 2009 actually worked. Just 34% said yes. 60% said no, it did not work. And with only 29% of respondents saying that they would support another round of stimulus spending, look at that, 61% say they would oppose it, the president's proposal may run into some political challenges. Joining me now, Lou Dobbs. He's the host of Lou Dobbs Tonight on the Fox Business Network. So he is going to offer, reportedly, new spending on infrastructure, clean energy, and education, and believes that what the country needs right now is more spending.
This is a president who has spent his political capital. This idea of adding to the stimulus spending, which in monetary and fiscal policy amounts to over $5 trillion, it is just not a new idea. It is unoriginal. It hasn't worked. And this president, in a way, is creating a greater problem because it is so clear that this administration is out of ideas and therefore out of solutions for 23 million Americans who remain out of work, underemployed, or who have given up work.
He believes, and we heard Nancy Pelosi reiterate this on the Sunday shows with Chris Wallace yesterday.
Now I'm excited.
That the stimulus one that the American people don't believe worked, according to the poll, did work because they say it saved or created over 3 million jobs. And so they will say that this, if you want to call it a second stimulus, will save or create millions more jobs.
It's time for the national media in this country to be big boys and girls and take a look at what is happening to this economy. The jobs that are being created, there is no such thing as jobs created and saved until, presto, President Obama comes up with the language. Control the language, you control thought. This is not a measure. There's no metric here that is accepted by economists around the country. The fact of the matter is we have 23 million people without work. We've spent $5 trillion. I know it's impossible to conceptualize, but understand, folks, we've got a $16+ trillion national debt now. This president has no answer to anything but spend more.
You know what they say to that? They say, look, we got involved in 2 wars under President Bush that we still had to fund and pay for. Under President Obama, they say he inherited a bad economy, which he did, and we had to do some stopgap measures to help the unemployed, to help folks who were on welfare and suddenly and so on. And so that accounts for some of that money. And they believe that in order to stimulate the economy, you need more spending. And this is their plan. I mean, listen, wait, before I let you respond, listen to Nancy Pelosi. It's just a short clip, but listen to how she put it with Chris Wallace.
It is almost a false argument to say we have a spending problem. We have a budget deficit problem that we have to address.
And what she meant by that, if you listen to the greater context, is sure, you can cut some things, but don't cut. She doesn't want us to cut education, scientific research, and so on, the things that are her favorite causes. She says, you know, some things can be cut, but not those things.
Well, first of all, education is not the purview of the federal government, and it only amounts to about 10% of the total spending in education in this country. So, you know, set her aside on that issue. And frankly, No Child Left Behind and every program moved by the Federal Department of Education is in fact an argument for the elimination of the Federal Department of Education.
But speak to that, but she says there's no spending problem. And President Obama reportedly told John Boehner the same thing, that we do not have a spending problem in this country.
What happened to the same president who, 2 years ago was talking about the recoveries at hand, mission accomplished on the economy? And we're sitting here with 7.9% unemployment. And we are looking at an economy that's not growing. It's contracting, down 0.1%.
They say with a contracting economy, you don't spend less, you spend more.
Can I tell you, in my humble opinion, you couldn't spend more if you had put your foot all the way to the metal. The truth of the matter is $5 trillion in the course of this president's administration, now entering its 5th year. It's utter hogwash. Why can't anybody be honest about it? Try some new ideas. Think originally. What we need here is not another list of government programs and trillions of dollars spent to hire more public employee union members, which is his real idea. We need a strong, positive leader in the White House to start driving optimism and focus on a future that's brighter than this sad past that has been created over the course of the last 3.5 years, the worst recovery since the Depression.
We are officially #1.
Absolutely.
Covered that 2 weeks ago. It was not good, but this is officially the worst recovery in the history of America. Lou, thanks for being here.
Great to be with you. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.